Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we're gonna talk about my monthly favorites for the month of May. So yes, be prepared for it because we're gonna see a lot of flowers this month. Yes, which is normal because for me spring and the month of May is really the perfect month for me to wear floral fragrances, and this was the case. So let's start. The first one I really enjoyed wearing is Rose Kabuki. So this is part of my favorite rose fragrances. I really enjoy this one because this is a soft pink rose, slightly fruity and sweet, a bit musky, a bit green also, like a rose from the garden. This is quite photorealistic, I would say, and yes, just a beautiful one that I really enjoy, and yes, I love it. So the next one is another Dior fragrance. We're gonna see a lot of Dior this month, and it is La Colle Noire. So this one is another rose fragrance, still fruity, but I would say maybe more fruity than Rose Kabuki. It has also a peony accord, and yes, it is much more musky, I say, muskier, I don't know if you can say that, than Rose Kabuki. It's a bit stronger too. It has a better projection, I would say, because both are quite long lasting on me, but this one projects a bit more, and I find it a bit more, I wouldn't say elegant, classy, maybe more something to put when you're going out, you know, like something for the evening. Maybe Rose Kabuki is more for the day wear, and this one for the night. I don't know, this is how I see them, but I like them both. They are quite different, still rose fragrances, but I enjoy them both. The next one is Grand Bal. So this one is more a jasmine scented fragrance. It has such a beautiful jasmine. I believe it's a jasmine Grand Florum, which is yes, produced in the south of France, this one. And it's a bit fruity too. I believe it has some ylang ylang, and it is really elegant, uplifting also for me. This is also a night fragrance or a fragrance for occasions, special occasions. I really enjoy wearing this one for birthdays, for example, or if I'm going out, because I think it's really classy and elegant. This is this kind of jasmine fragrance, and it is a stunning one, really beautiful. Maybe, yes, my favorite jasmine fragrance, or part of them, but for sure it would be part of them. The next one is New Look 1947. So this fragrance is also a floral fragrance, but there are a bunch of flowers in this one, but I would say it's predominantly the ylang ylang that I smell the most in this one. A gorgeous one, also really elegant and classy. I believe this is the one that I wore the most from these Dior fragrances this month, because it has the, I don't know, something more sunnier or much more, I don't know, it gives me some summer vibes too, because it's a little bit tropical. It has this ylang ylang tuberose. It's a bit spicy, it has some jasmine and rose for sure. Yes, it has this spices in the opening. I believe it has some pepper, and the background is really beautiful. It has some benzoin and vanilla. It's really nice fragrance, and I really enjoy it between usually between spring and summer, but it started to get really hot here in France, so it was perfect for that weather. Okay, my next one is also, I would say, quite a tropical fragrance. It is a recent release by Serge Lutens, and it is La Dompteuse Encagée. So this fragrance, yes, it's quite recent. I believe it was, yes, for sure it was released this year. I reviewed it on my channel too, so if you want to see the review, you can go, you can check it. And yeah, it's mostly frangipani and ylang ylang, but it's a bit almondy, and I'm wondering if it doesn't have some tuberose too, because yes, on my skin it has this, let's say, this quality that I find in the tuberose sometimes, like a little bit plasticky. I have some white florals also on my skin, but it smells mostly on paper like yellow flowers, and it's a gorgeous one. but you need to enjoy this kind of flowers to really enjoy it, because it's quite opulent and strong. It's really strong. This one I don't have to reapply. You see, I wore it a bit, and looks like I barely wore it, but I don't have to reapply that one. And this one I can't apply on my clothes, because yes, it would stain, let some stain on my clothes, because yes, it's pretty dark. It's pretty dark juice. So be careful about this one. You have to wear it on bare skin, because yes, I have it on paper now to smell it. I don't know if you can see it, but yes, my paper is stained. So you're gonna have the same issue with your clothes if you spread it on clothes. But it's a really beautiful one. Perfect for that weather, between spring and summer, I would say, or a summer evening, because it's quite strong. So I believe if it's getting pretty hot during the day, you won't wear this one. But for a night out, it's perfect. The next one is also by Serge Lutens, and it is Fils de Joie. So it's also a new release, and this one is a jasmine fragrance, but the jasmine here is really, really strong. It reminds me of the jasmine that's blooming in the north of Africa, in Maghreb, like in Tunisia. I remember that at night this flower had this kind of scent, like almost indolic, I would say. And it has also some honey, which is bringing even more into the indolic side, I would say, of the flowers. And it has kind of a beeswax smell, I would say. Pretty strong. It's really well made. Yes, this one is really peculiar. I need to be in the mood to wear it. So see, maybe I believe I wore this last than the other one, but it's really strong. I need just one spray and that's it. And the same issue, yes, the juice is pretty dark, so don't spray it on your clothes. You're gonna ruin them for sure. Same thing, I sprayed it on paper to smell it now, and I don't know if you can see, but the paper, yes, is red. So don't do it. Okay, the next one I'm gonna talk about is Embrun d'Ylang by Guerlain. So this one is also really great in this period. This is a great ylang-ylang fragrance, but completely different from the other ones I just talked about, like a new look, and yes, La Dompteuse Encagée had some ylang-ylang too, but this one smells completely different. It is like a salty ylang-ylang. It has something like a sea vibe, I would say, and yes, with of course lots of ylang-ylang, but it's quite spicy too. And yes, another one which is really beautiful, and you have to wear it on skin also because it's completely different. On me, it's really blooming, and I smell a lot more the jasmine. I believe it has some jasmine here too, so it's mixing really well with the spices and the ylang-ylang, and yes, this salty element is really beautiful too. So I really enjoy that one. It's a bit, I would say, less strong from the entire collection, L'Art et la Matière. This one is, I would say, weaker than the other ones, so I don't mind reapplying it. My next one is also a Guerlain fragrance from this collection, and it is Joyous Tuberose. Oops, I don't have some space anymore. Yes, can you see it? So, Joyous Tuberose, this fragrance is, yes, the first one that I bought from this collection. I really enjoyed it this month because at the beginning it was a bit cool, so, and it's perfect in that sense that, yes, for spring days when it's not too warm and a bit cool, this one is really perfect because it's a green fragrance. It's a green floral, white floral. So, yes, it says tuberose, but to me the tuberose is one of the flowers. It's mainly white flowers, and I smell also lots of lilies in this fragrance. So green lilies with some tuberose and a beautiful vanilla, a creamy vanilla in the background. So yeah, this one is really beautiful. I enjoyed it also this month. The next one is also another beautiful floral by l'Orchestre Parfum, Bouquet encore. It's one of the new releases. I don't know if you can see the name. Yeah. And it was released with another floral fragrance. I don't remember the name, but I believe it was for summer. They released the citrus fragrance, which was Electro Limonade, I believe, and Bouquet encore. And yes, this one was my favorite one. It's a beautiful tuberose fragrance with some, I would say, citrus in the opening, even if it doesn't have really some citrus notes. Like it has some this timid paper that smells like orange, blood orange to me. And so you have this sensation of blood orange in the opening and the beautiful tuberose and some creamy vanilla behind. This fragrance is really beautiful, really well made. It also reminds me a lot of Jour Infinissime that I have too, but I really enjoyed both. This one I would say it's maybe a bit more spicy, and the tuberose is a bit more present, dominant, I would say. You have it also in Jour Infinissime, but it's more creamy and soft. Here it has a bit more character, I would say. But still a beautiful one. It's not indolic at all. The next one is a new discovery, and I wore it a lot. I'm still wearing it. It's, yes, I made some space because it's a big bottle, and it is by Chloé, L'Atelier des Fleurs, and it is Tuberosa 1974. So apparently this fragrance was an older fragrance that they have, maybe one of their first fragrance that they released, and they relaunched it this year. So it's mainly, I would say, yeah, supposed to be a tuberose fragrance, but don't be mistaken by the name, because to me it has lots of other notes, I would say. I really love this fragrance because it reminds me of fragrances that I used to smell maybe in the 80s. It reminds me of, what was this fragrance by Cacharel? Anaïs, like the first version of this fragrance. And yes, it is a compliment to me because I really enjoy that one. I used to wear it. And yeah, so it has this tuberose, which is quite creamy, some spices, but also these other floral notes, which really helps this tuberose to take life, I would say. Like, it's a bit soapy. I believe it has something like a soapy rose and some jasmine also. All the notes are not listed, so this is what I'm smelling. Yes, I have a soapy impression. Does it have some aldehydes, maybe? Because I really have this soapy impression. Oh, it's really so beautiful. It's soft and innocent. Like the tuberose is not something like a really indolic in your face, a fleshy carnal tuberose, but it's really it's not light. It's not light fragrance, but it's soft and comforting and quite innocent, I would say. Yes, like Anaïs. So it really reminds me of that one. And it's a really beautiful one. I wore it a lot. It's a big bottle, so it's 150. This is the only format that you could have with this one. And I already wore a lot of this one. I'm quite surprised, but I really enjoy it. It's really beautiful. So if you have the chance to try it, I encourage you to do so, but it was really hard for me to find this one. And yes, I had the occasion, so I jumped on it. Okay, the next one is a completely different mood, I would say. And it is quite a new fragrance also in my collection. So it is La Ponyu by Céline. So this is the first fragrance that I have, that I try from this house. And it is quite a really pleasant surprise, because it is a beautiful iris, rose and iris fragrance, really cosmetic. I have lots of cosmetic vibes, like smells like a beautiful, expensive face cream or face powder, because it's really powdery. And still, to me, it could sound really feminine, but to me it's quite unisex. And it's really pleasant. It has something a bit drier and rooty, I would say, behind. I don't know if it's wood, sandalwood, vetiver, maybe. Yes, I'm still smelling it. And it smells like effortless, chic, expensive cosmetics fragrance. Like it doesn't really smell like a fragrance to me, you know? It's even like you put some expensive products on you and you just smell good. So This is what it smells like to me, but it's really pleasant. Maybe not something for hot weather, but I really enjoy it, yes, when it's cooler for spring. Yeah, it's a really nice one. I believe I'm gonna wear it a lot also for fall, autumn. It's gonna be really nice. Okay, now we're gonna jump to the fragrances that I've been wearing when it was a bit hotter, I would say, this month. And Je ne sais quoi was a really nice one. So this one is quite unique, I would say. In my collection, I have nothing that smells like this one, and I've never smelled something that smells like this one. So this is really how to describe it. Usually, I say that it smells like these fresh leaves from the hazelnut. You know, once you're picking hazelnut in the forest, and the leaves, little leaves of the hazelnut have this fresh green smell. So to me it smells like that. I believe that's because of the tea, the mate, not really the mate in that case, but I would say the blend between the rice, the matcha tea, and violet leaves that's giving this vibe to the fragrance. And it's really balmy, woody in the background, and it's a really beautiful one. It projects a lot. The lasting power is really great too. The longevity is really good, and it's quite unique. So yeah, and really pleasant for this kind of weather. I can imagine perfectly a man or a woman wearing this fragrance, no problem. So yes, a really nice one. If you have not tried it, this new collection by Tao Cabanel is really nice. I think that everyone can find a fragrance that they really love in this collection. Lots of people seem to enjoy, what is it? This Olala, I believe, which is the sandalwood one, which is also really good. But I'm less a fan of this note, so to me this one was really the most unique one and really beautiful. It's really addictive. My next fragrance is a fragrance by Memo Paris, and it is Inlay. So this fragrance is, yes, they have a few fragrances that are not leather-centered fragrances because, yes, they are really specialized, I would say, in leather, in the note of leather. But this one is not supposed to smell like leather. It is part of the most floral collection. But still, it has this note of osmanthus. So of course, in the opening, you have a lot of this apricot, peachy vibe of the osmanthus, which is really pleasant. Blend with some mate, which is really giving me this leathery vibe. I mean, osmanthus plus mate for me is, yeah, it really gives me this note of leather, and it's really floral. So quite citrusy and aromatic, I would say, in the opening. Lots of spices, and in the evolution, it's getting a bit more musky, I would say, on me. But it remains really floral, and it is quite unique too, but really beautiful. This is one that it was a love at first sniff, I would say. It was really hard for me to get this bottle, so I'm really happy I got it. If you're following my channel, maybe you know that I got a fake bottle first, so it was, yeah, quite a crazy story, but you can check if you want. And yeah, so this one, I'm really happy I get it at last, and I really enjoy it. Okay, my next ones are flankers of Shalimar. So the first one is Shalimar Cologne. So I'm really sad they discontinued this fragrance because this is still one of my favorite fragrances for hot weather. And yes, it smells like a pastry, like a lemon pastry, I would say. Lemon cookies, maybe. Lots of lemon in this fragrance. Lots of citruses, but like a cocktail of citrus. Of lime, maybe lemons and bergamot, and lemon is what I smell the most in these notes. It has also lots of vanilla, so it's lemon and vanilla mainly. It has some floral notes in between, I would say, but this is not what I smell the most. I would say I could not detect if it's, I believe that's the usual notes that they put in their Garlinade, so this rose, jasmine, and iris, of course, but I couldn't say it's an iris fragrance because, yeah, the other Shalimar, like the initial version that I have, for sure the iris is, it's an iris scented fragrance, but I couldn't say in this case. But yes, I believe it has this usual floral notes, but it's mainly citrusy vanilla and gorgeous one. Okay, my next one is also a Shalimar Flanker, and is really cute bottle. I like this fluffy, I don't know, feather. It's really cute. It's the flanker of Shalimar Initial, which is already a flanker of Shalimar, and it is the version L'eau si sensuelle. Yeah, I believe they didn't even have enough space to put all these declinations on the, on the bottle. And yes, you can recognize the different versions by this little, how do you call that? A fluffy, puffy thing that they added, little necklace, let's say. So yes, I would say the blue one, I believe, is the initial one. Then they have a pink one for l'eau, and l'eau si sensuelle, it's this fluffy feather. So this one, I heard it is quite close to a l'eau version that I don't have. But about this one, what I really enjoyed is this greenness that I have in this fragrance, which is perfect for spring. It's, of course, lots of citrus in the opening, but you have this typical bergamot that you have in Shalimar, but you have much more grapefruit. I would say I smell more grapefruit in the opening. A lot of iris, which is a delight. Lots of iris in this fragrance. And the other floral notes are quite green, so I would say for sure it has some jasmine and rose, which is, I would say, a base in this Garlinat, but I was wondering if it doesn't have something like maybe Lily of the Valley or Gardenia. It has something like a green floral note for me here. And of course this beautiful vanilla in the background. So I would say this is maybe the most perfect version with the Shalimar Initial. Shalimar L'eau si sensuelle is a really good one for spring. Last but not the least, I would say it is my darkest fragrance of the selection. Completely different, but one that I enjoyed for night time. And it is Encens Mythic, also by Guerlain. And this fragrance is not necessarily an incense-based fragrance, I would say. It has lots of pepper for sure, so this is maybe why they call it incense. It has this incensey vibe, I would say, because of this pepperiness. Lots of pepper that I have in this fragrance. But to me, it's a rose-scented fragrance, really dark, with some ambergris, maybe some patchouli. I don't know, but what I smell the most is the rose, the ambergris, and an overdose of pepper. And I don't really have some incense in this one. It's a really strong fragrance. It lasts for ages. It projects like a beast. And yeah, this is one that I really enjoyed this month when it was raining and for night, a cold night also. And I really love this fragrance. I believe this is, maybe my favorite one from this collection. And yes, I saw that Jacob, I believe, reviewed this fragrance last month, so I encourage you also to watch his review, which is quite unique and I would say refreshing in the way he did his review of this fragrance. So I really enjoyed it, so I encourage you to watch that. And yes, I was quite surprised because I noticed that this collection, the price of this collection really raised drastically lately. So I don't know if this is because of the ingredients, but yeah, I believe it was 50% augmentation, raise, which is a lot. Yeah, it used to be €100 for a bottle. Let's see, €150. So that's a crazy increase in the price. I don't know what happened. So, but I'm glad I bought it before this increase. Okay, now we're gonna talk about my discoveries of the month. So they are not necessarily new releases, but these are fragrances that I only discovered now. and that are really great. So I believe they are all bottle worthy. Just that maybe I won't buy a bottle of all of them because yes, of course it's pricey, but yeah, I will explain also why. So the first one is Black Rain by Renier. So I just lately discovered this brand, and so far I enjoyed everything that I smelled from this brand, and of course I want to discover it more then. And so Black Rain is it's hard to describe because they are quite unique also, these fragrances. It's really beautiful. I'm smelling it on paper. On paper, strangely, I have more chamomile, I would say. On my skin, it's more rose-scented with lots of leather and violet. I love this note. A beautiful ambergris behind. It's really unique, really one that you need to try and to smell. Really comforting and uplifting at the same time. It gives me a little bit of Encens Mythic vibe, strangely, because they don't smell alike. Maybe because this is the rose ambergris vibe that I got through, but really beautiful one. It evolves a lot. It smells completely different one day to another on my skin, so I like that also, you know, when a fragrance is a bit challenging in the sense that it's changing a lot. It has lots of different facets that I'm discovering every time I'm wearing it, and this is the case with this one. Yes, I really enjoy this one. Okay, the next one, I completely fell in love with it, and it is, I have a really small sample. It is Classique by Renier. So this one is really gorgeous. I believe I need to have it one day. It's a wood-scented fragrance. It has lots of wood, but it's not really this pooping wood, I would say, the one that smells like poop, but a little bit medicinal, but it's changing, evolving a lot. I believe it has some Indian and Cambodian wood. I believe this is the Cambodian one that I really enjoy. It's piney in the opening. It's giving me this beautiful pine trees vibe. It's also fruity, so it reminds me a lot of some fragrances that I really love for winter. Yeah, so it's a beautiful mix of a lot of things, but that works really perfectly well. So have a lot of this pine trees and fruitiness. I believe it has some fruits, but also a little bit of floral, a bit incensey too, and lots of fruit. And it's really well made, really well blended. I watched some reviews of this fragrance, said, yeah, that's really a male, ultra male fragrance, but I believe, okay, for sure it has lots of character, but I believe it can be worn by women too, because yes, women can have lots of character too, you know. So not necessarily for me leaning masculine fragrance. Traditionally maybe, but I believe women can really wear this fragrance. But yes, for sure it has a lot of character, but it's a really beautiful one. My next fragrance is a new release by Maison Violette, and it is Compliment. So this fragrance is the Tuberose scented fragrance, I would say. Oh, I don't see where I'm putting it. Okay. I don't have much more space now. So this is honestly a gorgeous Tuberose fragrance. It reminds me somehow of Fracas or yes, what are the other ones that I really enjoyed by Rock Perfumery. So it has this quality, it has this vibe, so this is really a nice one. I really need to enjoy wild flowers and slightly, yeah, I would say indolic fragrances, indolic flowers, because it has lots of tuberose. It's an overdose of tuberose, jasmine, and also in the opening what I found really interesting is this eucalyptus note, which is bringing some, I don't know, character to the fragrance, because it has a lot of character. It's multifaceted, it has some softness also, but with a lot of character. It's quite, I would say, vintage smelling. I don't see young women being attracted by this fragrance, but still it's a really beautiful one. great quality. Longevity is crazy. Projection is crazy too. So if you're looking for this performance and you love white flowers, I believe you really need to try this one. Okay, so my next discovery was Saboom by Theo Cabanel. So this fragrance is a salty vanilla, which is perfect for the weather, of course. But yes, I would say this is everything that I expected from Vanilla Vibes by Juliette Hazegan, but I didn't like this fragrance. But this one is really beautiful. It has some, it's quite peculiar also in the opening. It has something a little bit like, not really incensey, but like burned, it smells like burned woods. Maybe this is because of this sand lily flower. I don't know what it's supposed to smell like, but so you have this sand vibe, saltiness, and it's a little bit full, but I don't know which notes. Basically, I would say rose, and lots of vanilla behind. So it's a beautiful salty vanilla. The vanilla is quite good quality one, I would say, because it really reminds me of some other fragrances that I already have, like Vanilla Planifolia, and the other one is Couleur Vanille. So I would say it's a beautiful one. Maybe I would not buy it because I already have, some fragrance that smells like this one. So, but still, it's a really good one. Voila. So I hope you enjoy my favorites for the month of May. Tell me what you've been wearing this month, and I hope to see you soon in my next video. Bye!